All right, what's going on tonight, guys? This is Terry with NSPS TV. How you guys doing tonight? Hey, tonight we are traveling up to the great Northwest. We are in Preston, Idaho. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Preston, Idaho, man, with Mr. Shane with Bear River Paranormal. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Doing good. How about you?
Oh man, hey, can't complain, man. I'm alive. I am alive.
You and I both.
Hey, perfect 85-degree weather down here, man. Hey, I actually didn't even break a sweat today when I
Oh,
stepped
that's a
outside.
plus.
Yeah, man, I was chilling, doing some moving around, just enjoying the day
Hmm.
before I come on and speak with you. But hey, let's forget about me. Let's talk about you. Hey, Shane, tell the world a little bit about you, man. What's going on in your life?
Oh, well, I'm Shane. I'm up here in Preston, Idaho. If you guys don't know where that is, look up the movie Napoleon Dynamite, and that should give you an idea of where I'm from. But I am a paranormal investigator, lead investigator, and group owner of Bear River Paranormal. We service a pretty broad area. Now, kind of like where you're at, man, where you're at in Texas. We basically have to go like all over because everything's so spread out. And I know Texas is probably one of the bigger states in the United States, but we go around and we service, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado. We've even gone into Nevada too. It's actually quite wild.
Oh wow, dude, the scenery up there, man. How can you?
Hmm.
I mean, you just gotta wake up in a on a perfect on a perfect cool day and just look
Hmm.
at the mountains, man. It's beautiful up there.
Oh yeah, the Rocky Mountains are definitely gorgeous. And if you head up north to like the Tetons and everything, oh, it is gorgeous up there. Have you ever been to Yellowstone?
No, I haven't. I've been to Utah and Idaho, but I've never had the opportunity to stop there. I was shooting over to Washington at the time, so I really
Mm.
didn't have time to actually stop, and take a quick view. But hey, as I was driving, man, it's beautiful up there. You
Right.
know.
It is definitely gorgeous up here. It's different though compared to like the East Coast, and even if you go up to like the north western corner, like up in Oregon, Washington,
Hmm.
it's a little bit more beautiful up there, a little bit more luscious and green, but where I'm at, it's definitely a beautiful location.
Well, you know what, dude? Hey, I wish I was up there with you right now, sitting on the patio with a nice fire going,
Mhm.
just drinking something. I don't care what it is. It could be, so big old glass of water. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just enjoying the view and and all the nice people up there, man. I mean, when I was up there, the people were really friendly.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So, hey, how let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. I mean, because I'm really eager to know what you guys do up there. Like you said, you travel a lot. Now,
Mhm.
one of the questions is it hard for you guys to actually get an investigation since you guys travel so much?
I wouldn't say it's hard. We primarily focus on residential investigations because the way that I structured and built my team is, I would rather help people that need our help in regards to paranormal issues and occurrences and stuff like that versus going out and getting a rush and, having that sense of adrenaline whenever people experience something scary
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. So, basically we advertise and everything. We let people know that, hey, we specialize in residential investigations. Client confidentiality is like a big thing for us. I can't feel good at night knowing that you're not safe in your own home, and everybody should be able to be safe in their own home.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why we head heavy on residential investigations. We do cleansings, which is, our cleansings can range anywhere between Oh, I would say anything religious to using any herbs and spices, kind of like what the Native Americans used, or you can compare it to like Wiccan and pagan rituals and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that they use. It's kind of a wide variety. It's kind of a mock pot, so we gotta figure out exactly what we need to use for each case because each case is completely different. No case is ever the same, you know.
Yes, sir. I don't totally agree with you with that. Now, since you guys are doing mostly residential, how hard is it for you? I mean, for people, because I know down here, man, people are very conservative.
Hmm.
When they, call me and tell me, hey, if something's going on, if you go and check it out, residential wise.
Hmm.
Hell, 2 days later, I'll get a phone call back saying, well, uh, I'm gonna have to back out because I am scared of what my neighbors might think.
Hmm.
So how hard is it for for people to come call you guys? Then you're like, I got this. We can do this for you. We can give you the answers
Hmm.
you want. Then
Hmm.
next thing you know, you get a phone call like, bam, there's no way I'm able to do this. You know, uh, I'm just, a little skeptic about it.
Hmm.
People might, how do you go by that?
Well, in my years of doing this, and I don't know how familiar you are around here, particularly for Utah. Utah is chock full of the Mormons, and they tend to shy away from anything paranormal. Now, I've owned and operated my group for 10 years. First starting out, it was rough. I'm not going to lie, it was very rough. But over the years, people have grown more and more open to the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, the opportunities have been a lot greater for my team to help out other people. You know, we still get those clients that will want us to come out and investigate, and you know, we do a pretty stringent process. I mean, I built my own website, and I have fax FAQs, and I have a form for people to fill out. There's stuff for people to read and everything, and then on top of that, when we show up for the initial interview and do baselines and everything, I answer all the questions that they ask of us, and you kind of have to reassure them that, no, you're not crazy. You don't need to go to insane asylum or anything like that. This is actually legit. You know, who cares what your neighbors think? Because they're the ones that are narrow minded. They're not the ones that are open minded about this kind of stuff. Because I don't know how anybody can live their life and think that there's no such thing as spirits, or there's no spirits that are walking along the same plane as us, and that is completely false. You know what I mean?
Right.
And in my experience, it has gotten a lot easier. Not saying that it's better, but it has gotten a lot easier.
Okay, cool. Tell me, man, is it a little bit hard for you guys to get members up there? I mean, uh, just finding the right member,
Mhm.
fit for your team. I
Oh
think
yeah.
that right there, man, that right there is a big process within itself. You know what I'm
Y-
saying?
Yeah, because a lot of people like the vanity of being a paranormal investigator, and they like the idea of actually going out investigating. What a lot of people don't realize is this is actually a lot of work. And a
Yes, it
lot of
is.
people that I talk to that want to join a team, they kind of compare it to like what Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or some of those other ones on TV. And I have to explain to them, like, no, that's not even close. Like, there is a process. Obviously, each and every team is different,
Exactly.
but for my team, you got to look for the leads, you got to inquire about those leads, you got to reach out to people, and then you also got to interview them. We got to do baselines, then we got to do the actual investigation, and that doesn't even account for a cleansing if a cleansing needs to be done, and then
Right.
the hours upon hours it takes after the investigation to go over everything, to clip the evidence and present it to the client and everything. And that's not including answering emails, hopping on Facebook and doing posts or Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. It's basically a full-blown business that I'm not getting paid for, and I have to
Exactly.
break it to people that this is a lot of work. you literally have to be committed because I've been doing this for 10 years. I've cycled through over 30 group members on my team because I can't seem to find the right fit because a lot of people just don't want to put in the effort, and when I break it down to people, it's like, you guys do realize that I run this group as a full-time job on top of a full-time job that I'm actually getting paid for,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of long nights, a lot of audio and video and picture, evidence and stuff like that. And it's not meant for everybody. And I understand that people want to go out and, have fun and investigate, and people are curious. But at the same time, you got to realize that I've been around the block a time or two when it comes to this kind of stuff, and it's like,
Hmm.
my main focus is to help out the client. Like, that's great that you want to get your blood rush and everything like that, but at the same time, I'm over here focusing on how can I help this client so that way they can sleep better at night.
Right, right, right.
So up here, it's actually pretty hard. Like, there's been some group members that I really regret even adding to the group, and then there's some that I regret that they had to be let go and everything, and then there's the ones that I don't even think about anymore. So,
Wow, it's like that, huh?
hmm
Woo. Okay, so how many members do you have on your team currently?
well, as it sits right now, I have 8 team members, not including myself, so 9 total. At one point in time, I only had like 4 people on my team, and at the most, I've had 9 people. So
Okay, now
it's a pretty average team.
what's the cutoff limit for you? Or
Um, well, it's hard to say because we kind of gauge everything by the amount of busyness that we have. So the amount
Mhm.
of clients that come in and stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't need everybody on an investigation. Sometimes it's nice to pull a couple people here, pull a couple people there, unless it's like a huge business location where I'm going to need all hands on deck. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's nice to have the variety, especially like where I'm at. I have group members that live all the way close to Provo, Utah, all the way up to Weston, Idaho, and anywhere in between. So that is a good, I would say, 2.5 hour travel time between each location right there. So it's nice to be able to have group members in certain areas. So if I'm going down south, then I don't really need the people from up north to come with us. Or if we're going up north, the people down south don't need to go and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay. What does your family think about this, man?
Well, my dad's a huge supporter. Like, he's an empath. He's
Okay.
always been an empath and everything, and I have spiritual abilities as well. So, I mean, it kind of comes in course with the family, which is actually quite surprising. So, I'm the baby of the family. My dad was the only child. We're the only ones that have spiritual abilities. My other brothers and sisters don't have any abilities whatsoever.
Oh man, that kind of gives you the advantage in some
Yeah,
cases. That doesn't.
it has its pros and cons, because, like, I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but people that typically have spiritual abilities have some of the hardest times to sleep. They never
Hmm.
sleep. And my brother, I mean, he clonks out. Like, he closes his eyes and he's out.
Out of
And
there.
I'm over here like, it takes me hours and a couple times around the sun to be able to calm down and fall asleep. So
Okay. Oh wow. Now, how big is this little town that you're? I mean, give me a population number.
last I checked, I think it was upwards to like 6 or 7 thousand people.
6 or 7 thousand. And
But
how?
in the county, there's upwards to about 10,000 people.
Okay. And how do you manage to get the word around on who you guys are and what you're about without using social media?
Well, I have spent the money and created door hangers. We have cards. Whenever there is a paranormal convention happening down in like Salt Lake City, Ogden,
Hmm.
Logan, Pocatello, stuff like that, we have specialty banners and pamphlets to hand out and stuff like that. But social media has been like paramount when it comes to this kind of stuff. So,
Okay. Now, you mentioned the church.
hmm
You mentioned the Mormon faith.
hmm
How big of an influence do they have in the community up there?
well, A good 9/10 of Utah is pretty staunch conservative. It's only really the Salt Lake Valley that's more in the middle when it comes to the
Mm-hmm.
religion. Um, Utah is becoming more and more diverse when it comes to other religions and everything, but the
Right.
prominent religion is still Mormonism.
Mormonism,
Hmm.
and they sometimes kind of put a hex on people like us, and and the things that we do, or do they do the opposite?
Well,
Do they
depends on
embrace it?
depends on who you ask, because if you talk to Mormons outside of Utah, they will point fingers at Utah and basically tell you that the members in the state of Utah act like cults. You know what I mean?
Mm,
um, which is actually quite honestly true, to be honest with you. I've met some pretty cool Mormons outside of Utah, and they're pretty open minded when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just the people around here, they're very narrow minded.
oh,
So they do kind of like growing up and everything, because I never grew up Mormon. I was never Mormon. But growing up in a prominent Mormon community, I've had my fair share of bullying and everything like that, and I've seen the people that tormented me when I was a child go up and get married in the temple and go on a mission and stuff like that, and it is what it is. Um, Obviously, the big guy upstairs is going to be the only opinion that you're ever going to have. So,
right.
but when it comes to the paranormal, they're becoming more open about it. I still talk to people that are like, "There's no way this is real" and stuff like that, and it's just like, "Well, you've read the Bible, right?" Well, yeah. Well, it specifies in the Bible that the spirits walk among us, you know. And then they just look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, obviously, you didn't read the Bible,
Right.
so.
They Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? It seems like no matter where I go, what state, who I visit, who's on my podcast, that's
Mhm,
always one of the biggest topics that paranormal investigators, have.
mhm,
And they talk about is certain religions here, certain religions there, seem not to want to embrace who we are and what we're about. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And just like in South Texas, deep South Texas, more
mhm,
towards the Mexico border,
mhm,
there is a lot of Catholics. Catholics are and Christianity. Those
mhm,
two religions are some of the biggest influences on what people do, and you'd be surprised what the church have control of in their
mhm,
house.
mhm.
It's kind of crazy because
Yeah.
I've run into a couple paranormal teams who, man, it seems like they just have a lot of problems doing residential investigations because of the religious influence that's in
Mhm,
the house.
mhm,
And it's really crazy how something like that can have so much power over a home that
mhm,
people don't even own, the church don't even own. But I'm like you, there's no way in hell that I can be comfortable knowing that something that you're not able to sleep and I'm able to help you, but the church is telling me that I
mhm.
can't, telling you that, hey, don't do it.
Yeah.
These guys here, they're not going to help you. And whatever's going on, just believe in God. Just
Mhm.
believe in your faith, and it will go away. That's
Yeah.
not that's not always the case, my brother. That is
Which I
not
which I
always the
completely agree
case.
with that right there. Like we've always had a standing thing, especially when it comes to cleansings. They'll especially around here, they'll call the bishop or they'll call the missionaries over, and they'll come over and they'll do like a house blessing or a priesthood blessing or anything like that. And most of the time, it doesn't really help out. It actually makes things worse, because a lot of spirits, if they passed over to the other side, and if they weren't Mormon, then a priesthood blessing isn't going to help. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And that's why we stick with more of like the holistic type cleansings, like Native American, Wiccan, stuff like that, because we use the herbs from the earth, we harness the energy from the earth and everything, and we use the things that have been tried and true before even white man even settled in this valley. You know what I mean? So I'd rather go that route than use the religious route. I have my religious artifacts. I mean, I got my holy Bible, I have my crucifix, my rosary, my holy water, I got my silver crosses, stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I barely even touch them because I'd much rather use what is given to me by Mother Earth than what is given me by man.
Right, right, right. Now let's. I mean, I know that area is totally used to be 100% Native Americans.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about the Native Americans up there, and uh, do they embrace what you guys did?
Oh yeah, they definitely embrace it, and the people that I've talked to, they are a huge supporter of it, and a lot of them are very spiritual. It's amazing when you open up your gifts and everything, and you meet someone who is as equally as spiritual as you can
Mhm.
tend to connect on a higher plane. And then even though what us as outsiders did to the Native Americans coming over here to America and settling and doing everything that they'd done to them, they're still very loving and caring people. And that's how I see them as. I just see them as people. And it's awesome to learn about their background and their culture and different tribes and everything like that. It doesn't matter if they're Shoshone, if they're Bannock, if they're Blackfoot, if they're anything like that. I mean, it doesn't really matter what tribe they come from. I just find it equally as fascinating just talking to them and learning about their culture and everything. And me personally, and I would recommend this to you if you ever have an opportunity to go to a powwow, do it. It is the most energy filled location you'll ever be in your life.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, man, I would love to do that
Mhm.
one day. Yeah, that would be totally cool. A lot of my family members have some kind of Indian descent in them, but yeah, definitely. Um,
Mhm.
hey guys, this is Shane with Bear River Paranormal. Hey, I'd like to do a quick shout outs to everybody that's on the chat tonight. Ricky, Mary, Curtis, Roxy, uh, all you guys. Hey, thanks for being on. I know you, Curtis. I know you guys are in Oklahoma today, or headed to Oklahoma. So appreciate your time. Hey, love you guys. Hope to see you guys in a couple of weeks. With enough said, let's get back to the podcast. Okay, you know what, dude? How many are mediums that you guys have besides yourself that's on the team?
We have one resident medium. I don't consider myself as a medium. I consider myself having spiritual gifts. You know what I mean? I'm not going to place that tag on me. And in fact, she absolutely hates being called a medium, but it is what it is. She really
Right.
is a medium, but we only have the one on my team, and then she's actually my mentor. She was the one. So let me back up here. So funny story. When I started doing the whole paranormal investigating thing and I started my
Hmm.
group and everything, I never thought I had spiritual abilities. I always told people I was about as sensitive as a brick. So that's what I've always played on until she uh came into my life, and then she started opening me up and everything, and then things started making sense because I
Okay.
actually knew and was friends with her mentor before she was my mentor. And in fact, the same thing happened to her. Like, this individual like sought her out of crowd and immediately approached her and like, "You see ghosts, don't you?" And she's like,
Oh,
"Yeah, how'd you know?" "Because I see them too, and I can see that you can see them." And it's just, it dominoes from there. So 3 years later, here I am, opening up my abilities, being more and more spiritual as the day goes by. It's how it is.
okay, cool. Hey, let's talk about a subject that you just brought up, Wiccan.
Hmm.
Most people don't like to talk about it because they think Wiccan is another form. If you're not one, you're the other. If you're not practicing the dark arts, then you're actually with you in the light.
Hmm.
Uh, and which one are you?
Well, have you ever heard of a white lighter, a gray, and a dark sider? Have you ever heard
Yes,
those terms before?
yes, I
I
have.
consider myself a gray.
Okay, okay.
I'm right in the middle.
So you actually now let me see if I can get this actual right. A white lighter is someone that actually deal purely with the earth, that helps balance whatever's going on a certain land and try to purify it. And if I'm wrong, you feel free to stop me. You
Well,
know,
and I will stop you there because it really just depends on who you talk to. But over where I'm at, usually what we consider white lighters, besides the stuff that you've mentioned, they're the ones that talk to the angels. They're the ones that work with white light. You know what I mean? They're the
right?
ones that are on the lighter side of the spectrum when it comes to spirits and everything. In fact, I have another friend that's not on my team. She's a practicing medium and she is a light worker. And so she talks to the angels and everything. And I've seen her work and she's pretty freaking legit. My buddy David, who is also on my team, he actually had some work done by her, I would say a few months ago, and he started feeling the difference within a day or two after when he got work done by her. And she is honestly, she's also part of my family too. Well, was part of my family. They have my cousin and her had kids together and
Hmm.
everything, but I still consider her family, and she is the biggest and total sweetheart you'll ever meet. And then on my team, I have a lady named Kathleen who is also a white lighter. So she's also one of those that talks to the angels and she pushes out positive energy and everything like that.
Hmm. Interesting. 'Cause I mean, yeah, very interesting. Because the young lady that I've dealt with that comes out and bless certain properties, she's
Hmm.
also considered herself a white lighter.
Hmm.
And she say she, don't talk to angels, but you do talk to Mother Nature.
Yeah,
She,
and some people are different when it comes to the
yeah,
white lighter thing. Some people talk to the angels, some people talk to Mother Earth. I mean, it really all just depends on the individual
I mean,
itself.
right,
And like anything else in the paranormal, nothing is ever concrete. So the way that we define things here could be different for how they define things over there in the south or up north or stuff like that.
right, okay. Because she taught me a lot,
Hmm.
and I just sit back and just watch her, man. How she become one with the earth, and how things around her just gravitate towards her.
Hmm.
And it was a very beautiful thing. And because when I met her at work, and she was like, "Man, I got this gift, and I really need somebody to talk to about it. And you're the only one that I can feel like I can open up to." And
Hmm.
she said, "And there's a place where I think that you need to go." So
Hmm.
me and another paranormal investigator that was on my team, we got up one morning and we met her at her house, and she took us to this property where man, it pretty sad because a lot of Indians were died on that property, and she was able to communicate with who, I don't know, whatever was on that property. It might have been. I'm thinking it was just nature. She said it was just nature,
Hmm.
and she was able to have a verbal, man, a 20-minute conversation. Just because I'm wondering who in the hell she's talking to.
Hmm.
But she actually had a conversation with, I'm thinking Mother Nature,
Hmm.
But to this day, I still don't know. She's saying, uh, and because the way she was talking, I was thinking it was Mother Nature because she said she was up. They were upset on what the earth has become. They were upset on the property that how they're building things. How they just tearing stuff up.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that and I'm like, wait a minute. Is she talking to Mother Nature or is she talking to a spirit that actually died on that particular property,
Hmm.
and they were like, expressing themselves on, on how they felt,
Yeah.
about what was going on.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it was a very enlightening, well educated, event that was, that I was going through. And
Yeah.
today, we still talk, but man, I mean, when you meet people like that, it gets deep quick.
Mm-hmm. It
You
does.
know what I'm saying?
Especially when you connect on an energy level as well. It seems to go a lot deeper that way than you meet someone and they immediately feel repelled. You know what I mean?
Right? And woo, you know what, dude? Some people have that gift. I mean, some people that have it don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
and those that do want it don't have it. And I'm one of those guys. I just wish I had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man, you can sit here and you can meditate and you can think about things and you can meditate things, man, and you just want to push that energy, to you, but it just don't work like that. That's something that you actually
Mm-hmm.
have to be born with, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
And
in the past 2 to 3 years, I've grown more and more frustrated at the level of experience that I have with my abilities. You know, I want to be on the same level as some of my friends that are real true blue mediums. They can sit there, they could see the spirit, they could talk to them, they can hear them and stuff like that. And I wanted to be at that level, but I had to have a reality check happen to me from my spirit guides that, what you're wanting, you're not going to have for any time soon. So I have to slowly grow into those abilities. So as it sits right now, I can feel energy. I can see people's auras. I can see if someone has an attachment. I can feel if people have an attachment. I can pull attachments. I can talk to spirits and I can hear spirits. But can I physically see them all the time? No, not at all. And that's one of the more frustrating things is I wish I could see the spirit. And I think that's where a lot of my frustration came from. But ever since my reality check from my spirit guides and I had to go through a spiritual purge, um, I had a better understanding with my spirit guides. So we're both
right
at equal respect now.
now, why do you think some people are a little bit more well in tuned with their abilities than others? Now, you just said that it takes time,
Hmm.
but time waits for no one.
Hmm.
So it could be 100 years from now, and you still won't be able to be at the level that you want to be at.
It could take a lifetime or two.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
why is that some people are a little bit more, hey, they're really strong at this,
Hmm.
and then there's some who wants to be where the others are at, but not able to do so.
Well, and I've always had my theories on that. Like, I don't know if you're a believer in reincarnation or anything like that, multiple lives, you know. I've been told by multiple people that I'm on my 10 quote unquote third life out of five. So I'm halfway there. One of my buddies, who's actually a medium, he's on his last life. But I also kind of wonder for those people that have abilities that shut them off completely, or to some of those that have harnessed those abilities, I wonder if it comes from early childhood, because all children are sensitive to a point. It's only the ones that want to harness those abilities will grow into those abilities. And I wonder if those people have an easier time with their abilities versus people like me, where I was a late bloomer and I didn't start building up my abilities until I was like 28, 29 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
that's always
wow.
been my kind of theory, but I do understand, and I more side with the whole multiple lives thing. Like, I've meditated, I've talked to a few other mediums, and some other people have come to me about these kind of things, and some of the stuff that I've experienced as well leads me to believe that I have lived two additional lives before I hit this one here. You know. And I don't
Wow.
know if you're a believer. I don't know if any of your fans are a believer in that, but honestly, anything could be possible at
Yes,
this point.
sir. Hey, you're definitely right, my brother. You are definitely right. Because I've ran across a couple of people that was who totally felt out of place. They were like, Terry, I feel like I don't belong here.
Hmm.
what exactly is going on with my life? They totally fell out of place. And you sit down and you actually have a conversation. He's like, man, I felt like I was born 200 years ago. And and I asked him, I'm like, well, how long have you been, you feeling like you basically got to have a conversation with them to actually understand what exactly
Mm-hmm.
they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And and he was like, yeah, man, because I see things different. I look at the world like it where it used to be, not the way it is now.
See, and I'm
Uh,
the same way. I feel like I should have been born in like the 40s and 50s, personally. I feel that was my era that I should have been born in. Instead, I was born in the 90s. And I don't know if you're a big history buff or anything like that, but I
oh yeah,
absolutely love history. Like, history is like paramount. And I wish a lot of people would pay attention to history so we don't repeat history, but I digress.
right.
Um, but like what you were saying, I feel like should have been born in like the 40s or 50s, not in the 90s. So I completely sympathize with that individual that you talked to.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy because because when you look at them, you can tell by the way they dress,
Hmm.
the way they talk,
Hmm.
and things like that. And you know what? And you just absolutely, you're like, man, this guy here, man, I really don't think he belong here.
Hmm.
But he has, in order for him either to get back to where he's think he should be, he has to go through this whole life process again. And
Hmm.
but then again, when he's reincarnated, there's no guarantee he's going to be back where he was. He might
Hmm.
be 200 years in the future. You because you really don't know. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
because the way that I see it as, and I've kind of verified it with through a few different people. My first life was back in like the 1700s. My second life was in the early 1900s, like 1905, 1910. This is my third life, so this is damn near almost 80 years later. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So there was quite a bit of time between my first life to my second life, a shorter time between my second to my third life. Who knows? Maybe I might, if I were to pass away in a year, who knows if I'm going to be back in 20, you know?
Right. Yeah, you're definitely right. And with all that knowledge, because I hope it comes with you when you pass on.
Hmm.
And can you imagine all that history and knowledge that a person like you have
Right.
that's been through that over and over and over? It kind of reminds me of Quantum Leap.
Hmm.
If you ever watched the TV show,
Oh, yeah. I've
you
heard
know,
about it. Strange thing, too, I forgot to mention. So, my first life, I actually died while drowning. I have an irrational fear of water. Like when I go out and go boating and stuff like that, my anxiety is like up here.
yeah,
Um, we have plenty of like freshwater reservoirs and lakes and stuff like that where I'm at. The only place I feel the most comfortable swimming is called Bear Lake. It's just right over the mountain from where I'm at. The unique thing about this particular lake is you can actually walk out a ways. Like most man-made reservoirs, you can maybe walk out 10 feet before you hit deep water. This place, you're walking out 5, 6, 700 feet before the water actually starts touching your chin. So
hmm, that's a little crazy.
yeah.
All right, that's a little. Hey, let's talk about something nobody likes to talk about.
Hmm.
Uh, because a lot of people that does residential, they kind of a very sticky subject. Demons.
Yeah.
Have you encountered any
I've encountered a few.
residential wise?
Hmm.
Wow. Are you able to talk?
Yeah, I could talk about it.
All right. Well, lay it down. Tell me one.
So let's start with the Ouija board. Had a client that had a Ouija board he actually did not particularly use the Ouija board. He actually bought it secondhand for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were at this location, we kept on thinking that there's got to be a portal somewhere. There's got to be a portal here. Come to find out, the Ouija board was used improperly. It was never closed properly, and so it's basically been its own portal ever since the person used it. Um, the demon that I saw in my head running up the stairs was about 7 to 8 foot tall, with long ass horns, sharp, jagged teeth, and red beet eyes running up the stairs at me. And if I had anything in my for a bowel movement, I would have shat myself. I ain't kidding
Oh,
you. That was one of those times. Typically speaking, we don't. I don't know how versed you are in non-human entities, like malicious type entities, like elementals, skinwalkers, wraiths, stuff like that. We've come
right.
across quite a few of those, but 9 times out of 10, we get to deal with some pissed off human spirit that tries to manipulate itself to be a demon when it's not a demon. But yes, I have dealt with demons, and that was one of those times, and that was not fun at all. Definitely
I
do
can.
not recommend it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ouija boards, and you know the story and the background of all Ouija boards is really confusing
Hmm.
because one, I blame Hollywood. I mean, I don't think Ouija boards are bad, but but the way Hollywood portray these things as bad, don't mess with them, blah blah blah, this and
Hmm.
that. Now, the question that I have for you is, how is that someone who uses a Ouija board and don't close it, and that Ouija board was to, let's say, get somebody was to pick it up and take it to another location? How is that Ouija board can open up a portal in a different location if it's not the main location, the original location that it was actually used in?
Because it's the item itself. The thing with Ouija boards, and I preach a lot about Ouija boards, like there is a safe way to use them, and there's not a safe way to use it. And 9 times out of 10, most people don't know how to use a Ouija board safely. There are policies and procedures that you got to do to be able to communicate with those spirits properly through a Ouija board. And that is by opening it up, welcoming the spirits to come and communicate through the Ouija board. And then at the end of the night, you have to close the Ouija board. And that's not including having to keep your fingers on the planchette at all times. And if you lift off on the planchette, you basically broke the communication, and good luck trying to close that board. Now, in our experience, 9 times out of 10, people don't know how to use a Ouija board. They open it up, they experience something scary, they freak out, they toss the board or do whatever they need to do with it, and then it ends up causing more problems. I'm a firm believer that items can cause more damage than a location can. So if someone were to use a Ouija board, say in a library, for example, and then they take it to the
Mhm.
gymnasium, and and other people started messing around with it and everything. It doesn't matter where that Ouija board is. It's not going to be tied to that particular location. Where it goes, that's where the portal goes. And I'm a firm believer that humans are the direct result of portals being opened in the first place, because across the world there are natural occurring vortexes. And I don't know if you believe in pendulums or stones or anything like that, but in our experience, when we come across a natural occurring vortex, the pendulum spins clockwise. When we come across a portal that someone intentionally opened, like I was actually at a residential a couple weeks ago, and we had to go back twice to do two different cleansings, and we were able to determine where, in fact, the teenager played with the Ouija board simply by using our pendulum, and it was spinning counterclockwise.
Oh,
And you have to close the portal itself. Now, portals can open up, I mean, not portals, Ouija boards can open up portals in a location, or it can travel with the Ouija board. I've experienced both things. So it's just like with the paranormal. no two things are ever the same.
Hmm. Okay. I got a question. Are you able to look at the comments?
No.
Okay. Anthony from Texas Rape Hunters asked a question. Do you think that we are more powerful than spirits?
Depends on the individual.
Okay, Anthony. He said it depends on the individual.
Because if you look at some people can are weaker than others. And the only way you could be stronger than a spirit if you have the willpower to be stronger. And if you don't have that willpower, you're not stronger than the spirit. And that's pretty much the harsh reality of it.
Right, right. Okay, cool. Man, you know what? I just learned a lot in just a matter of a couple of minutes, you know. But let's talk about uh, cemeteries. Do you guys do cemeteries, or are you past that point
Hmm.
in your life now?
Well, I mean, let there are some locations like when we went out to Waverly a couple years ago. We definitely checked out those cemeteries because they're nothing like the cemeteries out here. Like the oldest grave that you'll find out here is maybe in like the late 1800s, but I
Hmm.
was finding graves out in Kentucky that were in the 1700s, early 1800s, stuff like that. Um, I'm not. I've done the whole cemetery thing. I mean, we've done a whole like we did one night where we did a cemetery crawl where we'll spend like an hour to 2 hours in each cemetery. And of course, over here in the West, there's little towns peppered everywhere, just in Cache Valley itself, because Cache Valley shares the same valley as Franklin County, Idaho, and Cache County, Utah. It's all one valley. So just in our valley itself, there's over like 20 cemeteries. And
Wow.
some of them are small, a couple of them are bigger. And the biggest one is here in Logan, and then the second biggest one is in Preston and Smithfield and stuff like that. And then you get the small towns like Weston, Dayton, Clifton, Oxford, stuff like that, where the cemetery is maybe like the size of a 3 or 4 bedroom house. You know what I mean? There's maybe like a half a dozen graves there. So
Right.
it all just depends. But we typically don't hit up cemeteries anymore. Like unless we go out east, then yeah, we're definitely hitting up a cemetery because I love seeing 1755 or 1789 or something like
Right.
that. You know,
Yeah. Me myself, I love them because there's no way you can't go a block or two and not run into one around here.
right.
I can literally go 2 blocks up the street and there's a cemetery, with the historical marker on it. So,
Well, and I
uh,
was blown away by Kentucky. I mean, there were headstones that were taller than a freaking house, and then there was big old mausoleums and everything like that. And over here where I'm at, you're lucky to find a statue on a grave that might be like 10, maybe 11 feet tall. You know what I
wow.
mean?
Okay. Now, let's change the subject up a little bit. Hey, now the area that you in, I watch a lot of TV and I've seen a lot of things.
Hmm.
Uh, you guys have a big UFO presence in
Hmm.
that particular area over there. Are you in contact or do you socialize with anybody that's in that, ufology, that study UFOs and all that stuff who are really deep into that? Do you follow anybody that are in that profession?
I follow a couple people. I mean, it's not really my jam. Like I'm a big believer in aliens. Trust me, I don't think we're the only living beings in this whole entire universe. I think there are other life forms out there that are in different galaxies within our solar
Mhm.
system. But I only follow like a couple of people.
And
So
how far are you from Dugway?
2, 3 hours away,
Hmm. Known to be the next Area 51.
technically.
Have you been out there, hung out there?
Yeah, because I mean, there's a couple locations that we've investigated out there, like Merker Cemetery is a throws away from the Dugway. A few other locations as well. I mean, I've been out that way, yeah, but most of that land is technically government military land, so it's hard to get out in the thick of it. You know what I mean?
Hmm, interesting.
Mm,
Because I would love to check that place out. All right,
right.
hey, Mr. James Franklin. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. From Knox Paranormal, Tyler, Texas. Getting ready for the Stagecoach Road in Marshall come Sunday. Hey, man, I wish I could go with you, but feel free to let me know how that investigation goes. You know what I'm saying? Because I will be headed up to Mineola for the big event on October 22nd. So if you guys want to come check it out, you're more than welcome to. The price is pretty reasonable. $50 for the whole day. You get to investigate that big old house for the whole day. And that property has over, what, 2,600 bodies on that property, from
Mm,
what I was told. So,
mm,
yeah, dude, yeah, that is a place that I think everybody in Northeast Texas should go check out.
mm.
For anybody on what, a 2 acre, 3 acre land have that many bodies on it, and the
Right.
house, and a 3-story house actually sits on that, and the house has a portal that the owner don't even want to close. She actually wants it open, and hell yeah, yeah, dude. Shane, that's a house, dude. If you ever get to Texas, you have to check that out because it is one of the best unknown houses that you can actually go to that has not been tainted with
Mm,
8 to 900,000 paranormal investigators.
mm,
She only has the select few that comes in, and you're able to investigate there. But yeah, it has not been tainted. Not like the Black Swan or all these other places that I'm pretty sure you heard about in Texas that are supposedly being haunted. Mineral wells, all
mm,
those places. I've never been there because that's not my forte. I'm a paranormal investigator that
mm,
likes to do the opposite. I don't like to go where 100 investigators have been. I like to go where nobody has been.
mm.
And those places are hard to find these days. But if
Oh yeah.
hey, if you do a little research, like you were saying on the first couple of minutes of the podcast, trust me, you can find just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If you just do a little research, like
Mm-hmm.
you were saying, this is my full-time job too. You have to put in your work in order
Mm-hmm.
to be successful in this.
Oh
And
yeah.
and most people think that it's you just go just to be going. It doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
like that. If you like just doing urban things, then you do that because that's what you're looking for. Anywhere you can go and be an urbanite, you know what I'm saying? But to
Mm-hmm.
be a paranormal investigator, you actually have to put in your work. You actually got to put your feet on the ground, do your research, do your history, and better yet, find you some good people that
Mm-hmm.
can join you on your quest.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Because if not, it's not gonna. I mean, I know people who are paranormal investigators that go out and do it by themselves, only for the simple fact they've yet to find those able-bodied people that are willing, to actually put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody can be successful. Trust me, dude. There's
Mm-hmm.
no I in team. There is no I in team. A
Mm-hmm.
team, it's got to be a team. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Definitely.
that's it's just crazy on how people think it's easy. Hey, you know what, Shane? I can tell you who I can blame for this. People don't, when people come on my podcast, they hate it, but I'm gonna bring it up. I blame fucking Hollywood.
Yep. I
I
agree with you
blame
right
Holly.
there.
I blame Hollywood for everything that is going on.
Yep.
Uh, that's going in the paranormal world. Hey, some people think, well, para unity is a great thing.
It is.
I love it. You know, paranormal investigators helping out each other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, none of that. Stabbing in the back. But you know what? How many of those TV shows that used to come on that damn members stab each other in the back? They
Mhm.
talk this, they talk that. Hey, 1 week they're on, the next week the other. You're like, where'd that guy go? That was on the show. Hey, he got kicked off.
Mhm.
All because people just cannot get along. You
Yeah.
know, and
And
it's
I'm
crazy.
a huge believer in paranormal unity, but unfortunately, a lot of people like to shit talk and stab people in the back and make it into a competition when really it shouldn't be a competition. I mean, I even still experience it to this day. I mean, it's a freaking competition to try to get into a location. Oh, I got here first. This is my location now. No, it's if you're gonna have that type of attitude, get the fuck out of here then, because should not be in the paranormal field. And there's some people that do some very shady stuff to clients and to other teams as well. And I've put some people on publicly blasting them on Facebook. And it's like, don't ever work with these people. These guys are POSs, especially around here. Like when I first started getting into the field, I mean, there was always a little bit of drama here and there, but everybody was willing to help out each other. Nowadays, there's crazy people out there that think that they're mediums and when really they're just blowing smoke up your ass. And there's some other people here that try to make it into a competition. Like we had one client of ours that generally needed help, and this other team made it a point to make it into a competition and purposely beat us to the punch to get to the location. And it's just like that kind of shady shit just drives me nuts. And then like on my
Right.
podcast, because I run a BRP podcast for my group, um I've talked some mad shit about some of these people. Like I don't give them the notoriety of saying their name on my podcast, but if they were to listen, they would know that I'm particularly talking about them, and they're really not going to like the things that are coming out of my mouth, which, you know, if you don't like what I have to say, then quit doing the shit to be called out on,
Right.
you know?
All right. Yeah, you're actually right. Hey, quick shout outs. Hey, Fox Paranormal. How you guys doing? Thanks for coming on the show. Uh, Thanks for coming on the show. Hey, Mr. James Franklin. Hey, yeah. Hey, this guy, he he understands what you're talking about, Shay, because he said and I wish you able to read the comments. Are you sure you can't read the comments? Can you click on the something, Shane?
Just gives me the option of private chat.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Well, James Franklin said the one problem he runs into is that people want to do hunts, and want to be this and want to be that, and actually contributing to the team, but they don't want to put in the fucking hours,
mm-hmm.
to go through the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what, James? I think to be honest with you, that is every team that's out there have the same damn problem.
Mm-hmm.
And after investigation, or after that, hey, they ready to hit the club, man. They ready to go have a drink at the bar. But everybody's forgetting all the evidence and all the audio stuff that people, they have to go through. But you know what? They want to throw that on to the lead investigator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I mean, we're a team. Why not everybody? Anthony asked Shane, have you ever crossed anybody over?
Spiritually, yes.
Okay. Oh, new comment. Let's see here. Ah,
But to touch on that particular subject that you were just talking about, yeah, the investigators, when I hire them on the group, I warn them, especially when they're greenhorns and they've never done this before. I'm going to train you on how to review evidence. And I will tell you, it is going to be boring. It is going to be mundane. It's going to be repeat over and over and over again. But the to find that evidence and be able to clip it and show it to the client is the most rewarding thing ever. Even though I just spent, say, for example, if I'm at a location for 6 hours, okay, and
mhm.
I have 3 cameras and 1 digital recorder going. So Times that by 4, and that's how long it takes, plus probably an additional 3 to 4 hours on top of that to go over said evidence, and then to clip it and everything, and then depending on what you have for a computer, like I personally built my own computer like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Now I can render a 10-second clip in 8 seconds, when before my old rig, it used to be a 10-second clip would take a couple minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. Anthony has another question for you. He's like, can you cross over to the other side?
oh, me personally, no,
Yeah.
no. If you're talking about like astral projecting or anything like that, no, I have not been able to successfully astral project. But in regards of passing a spirit over to the light, yes, I've done that numerous times. But me physically myself or spiritually myself, no, I have not crossed over.
Hmm. Now, if you had to have a somebody that TV wise that gave you, just the idea to want to do this, name somebody that you can actually say that was actually good on TV. That actually said, "Hey, this guy is doing the right thing. I like the way he's going. He's not with all that bullshit." Is there anybody out there in that world and that Hollywood that you can actually say that he's a good guy?
It wouldn't be a dude, it would be a chick, but it would be Elizabeth Saint.
Okay, okay, wow. And why her?
She seems to be very true to her abilities and her want to be able to understand the paranormal and everything versus some of the other people out there that really just want to cash a paycheck.
Yeah, and
Well, and also let me add another one, Bill Hartley too.
Bill
He's
Hartley.
actually pretty true. Like, I got to sit down and talk with him for a good amount of time, and he's a legit dude.
Okay, all right. Now, you know what? I would definitely agree with you on those two. I would I would definitely agree with you on those two. Yeah, Anthony said, I think Shane is from the past. I haven't seen an old style Coors beer can like that. Hey, you know what, Anthony? Hell, I didn't even know he was drinking Coors. Is that what you're drinking there, Shane?
Water from the Rockies right here.
Oh my God, dude. I use that to chum my catfish bait, but that's another story.
Well, I prefer the full leaded than the light, so.
Okay. Now, what do you think about Ghost Adventures, man? You think those guys are full of shit or what?
Well, the fact that Zach Baggins actually went to college at the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, to be in filmmaking and everything, leads me to believe that he's mostly full of shit. However, the man could put on a damn good haunted museum. I will tell you that. I've already been there twice. His shit's legit there. Outside of that, at best.
Yeah, he is he has got some enemies across the state. I think well, there's a couple on there that I think that are pretty good, but
Mm-hmm.
uh yeah, I quit watching that show. Shit, man, so many seasons ago, man, and I don't even want to talk about Taps because Taps just, I really thought they were, true to their word. I really thought they were sincere in what they were doing, and I
Mm-hmm.
really thought that the money would not corrupt them. And I really thought the politics that's involved into the paranormal, field would not affect them. But come the truth, it affects everything
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to making money.
Yep, it does. And that's with any team out there. I can't remember what that other TV show was. It was about I think it was the Paranormal Wraith Chasers or whatever they're called. The stardom definitely got to their head real quick. I mean, it took Ghost Adventures like 5 or 6 years for the stardom to really set in with them.
Mhm.
And Taps, the unfortunate thing with Taps is I actually grew up watching Taps. Like Taps was the show that got me interested in the paranormal. I mean, obviously, I've always had paranormal occurrences ever since I was a child, but the fact that there were people out there that were actually actively investigating this shit. Like that's cool. You know what I mean? And when I got old enough to actually understand things, that I kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of mirrored my group as part of how Taps used to do things back in the day. Now Taps now is not the same as it was the first 5 seasons when they first were on live television. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is. When money talks, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Not humanity, not your sanity, your give a damn in this kind of field just basically goes out the window, because whoever's paying you that paycheck, you basically have to kiss their ass to be able to stay on TV.
Oh yeah. Now Anthony said if it wasn't for Zach, there would be no Katrina Webb.
Possibly.
But everybody seems to forget about one individual paranormal investigator that I thought, turned the field around was Katrina Whiteman and her friend who is now overseas doing paranormal investigating. Now, I really thought those two was really sincere on, and really honest in
Mm-hmm.
all their investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Katrina is probably one of my favorite, all-time favorite paranormal investigators out there. Besides myself, but some of the things she's doing on YouTube is kind of throwing me off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and to be honest with you, I don't know if you felt the same way, but growing up, I always had a huge crush and inspiration for Susan Slaughter. Now, not so much these days, because I grew up and everything. But she was a damn good investigator back in the day when she was a youngin, when she first started with Taps and everything, and then she grew to be where she is now. I mean, hell, I even have a signed autograph that she even gave me for free. She mailed it to me.
oh wow.
That's some dedication right there. So I mean, I'm not gonna talk much shit on her or anything like that, because I have a lot of respect for her, but the money definitely did get to her head.
Oh yeah, it gets to everybody's head,
Mm.
man. But you know what? And at that point in your life, your fan base is shit. So how do you get that fan base back? How do you get that trust back when you're members of an elite team like that had millions and millions of followers? You know,
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, to be honest with you. I really don't think you can bounce back, to be honest. You know, because the people that followed you from the very beginning, before you even got famous, those are your true believers. Those are your true fans and followers. They will always stick with you through thick and thin, even though there's some things that they don't agree with you on. Now, those are the ones that you should probably listen to, especially when they call you out on your shit. It's the loud mouths out there in the world that you kind of just have to ignore. It's hard to ignore because they tend to to uh to escalate their volume more than others, so other people's voices cannot be heard. But at the end of the day, I mean, once you sign that dotted line and you're a shill to Hollywood, you've basically became the enemy of everybody that they wish they could be.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, you are definitely right on that, dude. Uh, it's something about Hollywood that just fucks everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so crazy about it, Shane? It filters down.
Yep.
It filtered down to little people like me, you, and
Mm-hmm.
all these other paranormal investigators that wants to be paranormal investigators. It just filters down, dude. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a damn shame that it's like that, but that's just the way the world is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So all right, man. So tell me some of the equipment that you guys use.
Oh, we use everything. I mean, we're technically a scientific based a group, so we have everything from as simple as the K2 to full spectrum cameras, digital recorders, REM
Hmm.
pods, millimeters. We got SLS. We have SB7, 11, pyramids, Boo Buddies, stuff like that.
Oh man, it seems like you guys got a lot.
Well, when you've been in this field for a little over a decade, technically 10 years is a decade, right? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
decade. You tend to accumulate, the equipment. Like David, he's only been on the team for about 5 or 6 years now, and he has technically in monetary value more than I do, but I have more equipment than he does physically. So between the both of us, I mean, we basically carry the whole entire team when it comes to equipment. I mean, Becky, she's got an SB7 millimeter and a few other things. A couple of our other investigators have equipment and stuff like that. Our medium, she basically uses her body as a piece of equipment. So I mean, we
Yeah.
can count that right there. But I mean, we got everything: music boxes, the whole 9 yards. Even
Uh,
something as simple as a cat toy.
there you go. You need to get your dog ball.
Oh, I got a dog ball. I have 3 cat balls. I have a cute, cuddly little unicorn rem bear.
Uh,
I even got a $400 music box that
woo!
I pretty much I paid for the materials of it. It's not as good as my $80 music box, but I digress.
All right, Anthony, I am not wearing earrings. These are, you know what? I was in the dollar store and I seen these nice looking earbuds with different colors. And I'm like, man, those things look cool. So I went to the dollar store and I just happened to pick them up. My other big headphones, I think my son took them to college with them because they kind of glue in the dark,
Mm.
But hopefully, when I go up there in a couple of weeks, I'll get them back. I'm gonna steal them back from him. Okay. Now, do you guys use any of these damn uh, phone apps that are out today?
Hell no. That's what paranormal equipment is for, so that way you can investigate with physical equipment, not use a damn app that clearly says this is for entertainment purposes
Preface
only.
only. Yep, I agree with
Oh,
you.
it blows me away. A lot of the people here in Utah use apps, and it drives me nuts. Like, in my eyes, it drops down your credibility quite a bit if you guys use phone apps. Like, come on. It's
Yeah, it
not
is.
much to buy a simple piece of equipment to be able to get quality evidence. Like, a $60 digital recorder will get you probably one of the best damn EVPs you could ever have. Versus paying $10 for a stupid phone app that isn't guaranteed that it's actually going to work.
Yeah. Uh, and how many cameras you have?
So I have 4 full spectrum cameras. I have 1 regular camera that we usually do like panoramic stuff or time lapses, stuff like that. David's got a full spectrum camera, a pretty expensive one. It was about around $1,000, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
We got plenty of lights, the whole gambit.
Okay, so let me ask you a question here. When you're investigating and you got your camera up or whatever you guys do,
Mhm.
what is the first thing if you hear something, what is the first thing that your body does? How does your body react to you hearing something? Now, do the camera move first or do your head move first?
Well, our cameras, they're stationary cameras, so we stick them up strategically throughout the location.
Hmm.
In regards to what we feel or what we hear, me personally, if I hear something, I immediately turn my head to the direction where I heard that noise.
Okay,
If I
okay,
feel a spirit near me or next to me, I get the chicken skin, the goosebumps, like as if you're gonna have a chill or anything like that. I call it chicken skin here, but that's basically what how my body reacts to that kind of
okay.
stuff.
I'm about to present something to you. If you've been on my page, if you looked at anything that I put out, or if you just looked at my Facebook page, you already know what I'm about to propose to you.
Hmm.
Have you seen them?
You'd
Give me
have to
one.
remind me because I looked at your Facebook earlier today, but I wasn't 100% sure what you're talking about.
Just give me one moment. Uh,
The captain has left the building.
Now, Shane, this is about to change your life.
All right.
Okay. Now, I don't think about me. I'm not getting paid for this, but I am a person. I am a realist, and I believe in if I believe in something that I think is truly going to work for the paranormal field, I, I have to share the love to all the paranormal investigators out there.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, when you're investigating and you hear something like you said, the first and if you're holding a camera, your camera is not going to move first. It's just not in your body's nature to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the first thing you're going to do is turn your head like that.
Yep.
And your body's gonna stay straight. So when you and your body gonna stay like straight, like your body gonna stay straight, and your head gonna turn. Where's your camera gonna be? Your camera
Mm-hmm.
is gonna be the same way where your body is. It's gonna be straight because it's gonna take a couple of seconds for for your body to, understand what's going on. Then it's gonna
Yep.
turn the camera.
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully, this is gonna change your life.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
This will change because when you put these glasses here are 1080p motion detected,
Mm.
uh and a couple more devices. I mean, things that you can do that's on your camera, and you see the camera is right here.
Yep.
And these things here, you're able to switch out. Now, I've had them on during the day, so I got the dark lenses on. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing the night, you can put the clear lenses on, and you're able to see.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It gives
Mm-hmm.
you 3.5 to 4 hours of audio and video.
Okay. And
You
does
know
it
what I'm
do
saying?
night vision? So is it sensitive to infrared and stuff like that?
It does night vision.
Okay. Okay.
So you're able to capture when your head moves, you're able to capture that because you're going to be wearing these and you'll be able to see what all that over, whatever's going on over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it comes with uh, a Sims card.
Okay.
This one here has, I think, a 32 gigabyte. I'm not sure, but either
Mm.
way, it has an internal and a SIM card, so you're able to get more video and audio than probably what you really need. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, and it has great audio. You know what I'm saying? So
See,
this
and the
here,
funny thing that you mentioned that I actually not the sunglasses part. I actually bought a headset for my GoPro style cameras, and in fact, I even bought the adapter so that way I can adapt the infrared light with the camera right next to it and everything,
mhm,
or stack it on top of each other. And I also have the chest mounted one as well, but I never thought about actually buying ones that are integrated into glasses. That's actually pretty ingenious.
pretty. Also, are you a gamer?
No.
Do you play video games?
No, hardly ever.
Flash
To be
that.
honest with you, I never have
Okay,
time for that.
I used to play Modern Warfare,
Okay, I've played that.
and it used to be a guy which I've got it landing right here somewhere. He's dressed up in his fatigue, and it's just like these modern day army guys that
Hmm.
have the headband,
Hmm.
the light, and the camera on the side. Well, I got the exact same thing,
Hmm.
and it 4K
Hmm.
motion detected.
Hmm.
Audio is great. Now you're able the only and you're able to change the lighting, dark, dim, and you're able to hit that flashy, whatever that is. I don't
Hmm.
understand why the military use that, but they do.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm able to, actually I had it on last week, but
Nice.
yeah, it's you can fit that thing and it's the same way. The only difference is you're able, if you don't feel like wearing your glasses, and you same thing. You're able to turn your head. You're able to do
Hmm.
all that stuff. So yeah, dude. I mean, it is these things here. I was hoping that a lot of more people were able to look into these, But you also got to realize that people are stuck in their ways
Hmm.
of investigating.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to, to me, I call it up to date tech.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know,
with those glasses, what's the viewing angle of those? Because typically speaking, we use a lot of GoPro style cameras because they see 160 to 170 degrees of viewing angle versus like the point and shoot cameras, which is technically like tunnel vision and stuff like that.
uh-huh.
How are those cameras compared to like GoPros and stuff like that?
These uh, these here.
Because that could be the make or break for me because I like
Well,
the wider viewing angle.
I'm glad you said that because you would get whatever you see. That is what you're gonna get. Now,
Okay.
the viewing on this thing is pretty wide. I'm not
Hmm.
sure the specs on it, uh, but yeah, I have not had no problem with it. Whatever I was able to, to go out and see, and whatever I wanted to capture, I was able to
Hmm.
do that with no problem.
Well, send me a link to those because I would like to check them out.
No
Because
problem
I'm
at all.
interested in these, and if I'm interested in them, David will be interested in them.
And what's so crazy about it, all my cameras, I got 4 pair of these, and I got
Uh-huh.
uh, like 8 cameras.
Hmm.
I'm about to get rid of all my cameras
And just stick with that.
and just stick with these because my team members will actually have access with their hands
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of holding a camera and all that. And what's so crazy about it, if you want to, you can run a wire with these glasses on down your shirt, and for some strange reason that you're out investigating for uh 5 maybe 6 plus hours, you can easily pop in another SIM card and run a battery pack just in your
Hmm.
pocket, and you're good to
Hmm.
go, and you're still able to do what you want to do.
Might I suggest to you that don't get rid of your cameras because cameras are a good way to put them as a stationary thing. I can't tell you how many pieces of evidence that we've received just by sticking a camera in a corner in a room and leaving some equipment in there and then walking away and not be in that room for a couple hours. You'd be amazed on some of the evidence that you can capture by just having just the camera sitting there.
Ah, I got a remedy for that too. Have you ever heard of a device called? I'm giving you all my. I'm giving you all my stuff because I like you. It is called a Pi Genie. Have you ever
Pie
heard of
Genie
a Pi Genie?
made out of a Raspberry Pi.
No, a Pi Genie is a device that is probably no bigger than these glasses, no taller than these glasses,
Mm.
and you're able to put a camera on it, and it able to sense detection 365 degrees.
Okay.
Wherever it hears or sees, it's going to follow it. Now, the only problem that I have with this device, Shane, it's not able to go up and down, but it can go
Mm.
left, or it can go left all the way around 360.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you know the best thing about this device? It tracks unknown objects.
Okay. That's cool.
Yep, unknown
Hmm.
objects.
Okay.
So very interesting.
Hmm.
I will send you the link to this. It's very, I mean, and I put it on a tripod, and I've had great success with it. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah. I'll check it out. Definitely.
yeah. Couple questions here. Have you ever had an attachment or possessed?
Possession, no. Attachments, numerous times, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Possession is actually a very rare thing to come across. Me personally, I've not come across someone that actually is full on possessed.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. What's up, Nisi? How you doing? All right. All right. Hey, you know what, man? We've been talking about you so much. Is there any questions you want to ask me?
To be honest with you, I don't really have any questions for you. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come talk with you because it's, hearing the voice and actually seeing the face now, put two and two together, it's quite welcoming.
All right. Hey, a couple more questions before I get you out of here, man.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, even me, I have one. What's on your bucket list to investigate?
It's a tie between the island of Dulles down in Mexico and the old it's the island off of I think it's Greece or Italy. They would ship out all the people that had the plague and they would implant them on that island. I can't remember what that island's called, but it's over there in Europe. I want to definitely check it out.
Okay. Now, you do know that we have an island like that here in the States.
Roanoke.
No, it's called the Island of the Dead in upstate New York. That's where they put all the bodies that were died from the recent plague that we just had,
Mm.
and all the people that bodies that didn't get claimed, all the homeless people that had COVID, man, they didn't know where to put them. It don't make no sense of putting in family. I mean, because the cities aren't going to let you just put bodies in family cemeteries, and
Yeah.
so they had to find a place to put all these 26,000 people. So they decided to put it on the Island of the Dead.
Hmm. I'll have to
It's
look
a,
into that because this is the first I've heard about this.
yes, the island it's an island in New York where it used to be an insane asylum. Bodies was already there, but they
Mm.
closed it down back in the 80s. I think from 80s. It might have been before that because of the bad treatment that these people were getting. So the state like, oh, I'm gonna close it down. We
Well,
can't do
I
this.
also think I think it was like the 70s or 80s anyway was the downturn of insane asylums to begin with.
Yeah. So they're like, well, then the governor's like, hey, let's go ahead and, we have to put in place. I mean, we can't just do like the 16th century when the plague was out. They just put them in a big hole and just burnt them and just covered them up.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when the black, what is that? The Black Plague, or uh, I forgot what that plague was. Where
The bubonic plague.
it was something when they just
Mm-hmm.
buried everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the mayor's like, well, we'll just put them on the island of the dead. So what they did was they went and got a couple of uh, people from prison who's not going to make a lot of money out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't really care how they, on how they put the bodies in. They
Mm-hmm.
just dug a hole and stacked them up 3 to 4, you know, bodies high, and just covered them up.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when you bury a child, it goes to the child cemetery. But no, when you bury, and that, if a child died from COVID, they went where the adults were, and they just got stacked in also. So,
Hmm.
yeah, dude, look it up. It's called the Island of the Dead. It's in New York, and there
Okay.
is, yeah, and I would love. It's off that it is protected year round by police or whoever that is that circles the island. So you're not really have access to that place,
Mm-hmm.
But and the only way you can get access is if you have documentation that somebody in your family is actually on that island that's dead,
Mm-hmm.
that's buried there. But how can that be when there's no marker of anybody except for those that were there previous before they started doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a place that you want to check out. The other place, mine, would be France,
Mm-hmm.
Normandy Beach. If you're a big history buff, and if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen, what is that movie when they're like, man, the minute they got off that boat, they're like blah 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 blah. Germans
Mm-hmm.
are chopping them down. I
Yep.
mean, there are so many quick deaths that happen on that beach. There is no way that you can tell me that there's not something going on that place, on that
Oh
beach.
yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
You
Isn't
know,
where was that place over there in Europe that had the tunnels full of dead bodies? Was that in England or was that in France?
that was in England. You're talking about what is the name? Yeah, because the bodies are actually embedded into the walls or
Yep.
something.
Yep. That's another place that'd be cool to check out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to check that place out too. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But dude, it has been a pleasure talking to you, Shane.
Oh, it's been a pleasure talking with you. It's nice to be able to get out of the Mountain West and actually talk to some people down in Texas or any of that. It's quite refreshing.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? It's been all my pleasure, dude. I mean, for you coming on the show, telling us, what's going on up
Hmm.
there, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Some of the followers ask crazy questions
Hmm.
sometimes, but that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? Too
I'm
bad.
used to the questions. I mean I think I've been asked every question in the freaking book at this point.
Yeah, they you know they are very cool people.
Hmm.
They just as curious as I am.
Oh
And
yeah.
they want to ask a million and one questions.
Oh, trust me, I even have questions myself that I can never seem to find answers to. But that's just how the human race is.
Oh yeah. So it's been a pleasure. Let's do this again.
Definitely.
Hopefully we can get the whole team on the show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you have my number. If you got any questions, or if you're ever in the neighborhood and if in Texas and you just want to stop by, hey, I would definitely show you guys a good time. Places to investigate, all that stuff. You know, uh, Pretty much Texas. The whole state of Texas is
Mhm.
is haunted. So
Well,
I
and you
mean,
have the open invitation from me as well. So if you're ever in my area, hit me up. I'll definitely come hang out with you, take you to some locations, and we'll go from there.
all right.
Now, do keep in mind though, I'm at the tail end of my of second season for my podcast, so I may be hitting you up here in a few months, be like, hey, let's schedule something. You be on my
Hey,
podcast this time.
I would love to. I would love to answer questions instead of asking the questions,
Hmm.
all the time. But I am on my tour of the country, and I think tomorrow I will be headed over to. Let me see if I can get this. I will be headed over to. Oh man, you know what? I am stuck in Utah for another day.
Nice.
I I have a podcast with Southern Utah Paranormal Society. Have you
Hmm.
heard of them?
I have not. Who is it again?
Yes. Southern Utah Paranormal Society.
Seven Utah Paranormal Society.
Hmm.
I have not heard of them. Where are they based out of?
I'm not quite sure.
Because if they're down in like southern Utah, I probably would know who they are. I usually interact from teams that are from like Santaquin, Utah on north.
I can find out for you right quick. Let's see. Ah, they are located in Cedar City, Utah.
Ah, that's why. So Cedar City, Utah is in the southwestern part of Utah. So where St. George is like
Hmm.
45 minutes to an hour north of there. So they are literally a stone throws away from Mesquite, Nevada, and St. George.
Okay, cool. And that would be my only podcast for the day. And after that, I will be headed to Fairfield. I think these guys are up in somewhere in the Midwest. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, they're somewhere in the Midwest. Fairfield Paranormal.
Okay.
So my days is I got two pretty good paranormal investigation podcasting coming up, and hopefully I get a chance to meet some new friends like you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely, dude.
saying? So, well, dude,
Hmm.
you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man.
I
I'm gonna
know
go
it's
relax and hang out with the old lady.
well, I did not meet her, but tell her I said hello.
Oh, I definitely will let her know.
You know what I'm saying? But okay,
Mm.
hey guys, please, if you guys got any questions, make sure you contact this young man at Bear River Paranormal. Hey, give him your all your information before you leave, Shane.
All right. So the easiest way to find all of our information, just go to our website at www.bearriverparanormal.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the web page, you'll see all of our links. We've done a couple things. I think we've done like all my links and a couple other of those other ones that consolidate everything into one link. But you can pretty much find us everywhere. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all Bear River Paranormal Podcast. And I also do have a podcast myself. It's called BRP Podcast. And the links are also down there in our website at bearriverparanormal.com.
All right. Hey, also, guys, to let you guys know, NSPS TV Paranormal will be starting a brand new podcast. It will be called NSPS TV Paranormal After Midnight. This podcast will be about everything that, because we hear a lot of things, a lot of good things about the paranormal, but there's also a lot of bad things about the paranormal. This particular podcast will cover that specific topic. I pick After Midnight because all the kiddies would be asleep. You know what I'm saying? So it might be some words or some things that you might not want certain people to hear. So that's why I decided to do it after midnight. That will be starting soon. So you guys want to come on the show? Just contact me and we'll set something up.
Yeah, definitely.
We would definitely set something up because Mr. Shane, yeah.
Oh, I got some stories that the kiddos should not be hearing. So I will definitely hit you up on that.
Yeah, hit me up after midnight. All right. Hey, like I say, it's been a pleasure, brother. You enjoy your night.
Yep, you
And
too, man.
hey, peace.
See you, dude.
Have a good one.